Hey everybody, Tyler from Valve News Network. How you guys doing today? Hi, hello. It's funny. I have there's a couple people in the community that have my cell phone number, right? And they call me whenever there's something interesting or very important going on that may be needing attention. Woo! Woo! Thank you. Phantom Unboxing. How many months? It's 15 months. Streak 17 months total. Thank you very much. So I get a call this morning, and it's actually the first time I got a call since Epistle 3. And I just want to clear a few things up and then take
Tyler, is it true? Did you leak yourself at Valve HQ? I've heard there are chat logs confirming that you leaked poop in your pants while talking to a Valve employee. I'm with Bethesda News Network and we would love an answer. I don't know what's going on.
It's totally true. Hey, okay, so let me give you a full backstory, and then I will be answering some questions. Woo! So, hello?
Big Pooings, Big Shiddings 2020.
Thank you. Let me just pause that, because this is important. How's everybody doing today? Is everybody staying safe? Is everybody washing your hands? So this actually came at a really opportune time for me. I know exactly who did this. And unfortunately, I feel very bad for the person who did this. Because you picked a bad time to do this. Where do I pause? Oh, it's in recent events, right? So, for the longest time, I ran a community server, a community team named Lever Softworks. And on Lever Softworks, we did a few things. Portal's still alive for PC, Half-Life 2 Aftermath, the Half-Life 3, the Half-Life 3 dog resource gathering maps, and behind the scenes we were working on a community recreation of F-Stop, based almost entirely on the available assets. We had found new information within the retail build of Portal 2, and yeah, we were building that up. And what ended up happening was I got busy and the team fell apart. We really weren't working on much over the last 6 to 8 months, if not a year. And one of the major reasons why this team fell apart was, well, we just kept arguing about things. It didn't seem like we were able to get anything off the ground without starting to bicker about things that were unrelated to the game's design or the game's development. And it's a shame, because I was very proud of what we were doing with this little F-Stop recreation project we were doing. Unfortunately, there were a couple people on the team that had a history of being, let's say, problematic. Very inflammatory, very accusatory, and with a history of racist and homophobic behavior. Now, I had a few one-on-one conversations with this person about it, but unfortunately, one of the major development partners on the team is transgender. And, well, the fact of that was unfortunately used against that team member too many times, causing the transgender team member to leave the team, and then everything falling apart because that team member was integral to the production of everything that happened. Now, I'm not saying that this stuff went down because one of my friends is transgender and, you know, all of these things took place because of that, but I will say that there were many times where very inflammatory things were said outside of our server that would then make its way over to me. So yesterday I get a call from a good friend of mine, a friend that I've known for, oh Jesus, 4 or 5 years at this point, asking if I would transfer ownership of the Lever Softworks account. Because I own the Lever Softworks Discord server, and I wasn't doing anything with it. I was busy with creators.tf. I was busy with my own personal life. I was busy with, well, something that we'll get to in a minute. And so one of my close friends contacted me and was like, hey, you know, we're not really doing anything in Lever. Would it be possible to just transfer ownership of the Lever server to me? Sure. Like, I'm not doing anything with it. I have no time to run Lever. And in fact, I had told them, the team, that I was stepping down as project manager or lead or whatever of Lever about a year ago. So I just transferred ownership to a person that I trusted, and we went from there. When the ownership was transferred, this problematic person was removed from the team. And myself expecting a lot of messages from this person, I blocked them. It was gonna be a temporary block, mostly just because I wanted enough time for the person to calm down and know that their messages were not being read. Because there had been a pattern in the past of this person not being, you know, in certain groups or chat rooms, and them kind of getting very upset about it, about not being, about being left out of certain groups. So I expected some inflammatory stuff. So I blocked them so that they knew that I wasn't getting their messages. And so what happened was, this person, I guess, saw that they were removed from Lever, that I had blocked them, and their immediate reaction is to leak everything they have on 4chan. This unfortunately proves my point as to why this person may not be the most mature or easy to deal with if their first reaction within a few hours is to leak a bunch of things onto 4chan. So people are screaming, talk to a lawyer. I want to push a few things out there. Number one, there's going to be a significant amount of misinformation about me thrown around. This isn't my first rodeo. This is not the first time this has happened, where somebody tries to throw me under the bus in order to be able to get something leaked. This has happened in the past. So let me clear this up. Source code to Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike Global Offensive as of post Jungle Inferno, so it would be late 2017, has leaked. Except it didn't. This stuff leaked back in late 2018 by a member of the Source Engine development community that unfortunately had a mental breakdown and was about to do some other very unrelated yet very illegal stuff, and right before doing these things leaked this source code onto the internet. I had contacted Valve many times within about a week after this happened to try and warn them, and I never got a response back. I did not leak this source code, and in fact, I never had it. I was very aware of it, and in fact, the warning signs of the original leak was very apparent. Then it did leak sometime in late 2018, and my little group of Source Engine developers, all on this Lever Softworks Discord server, were discussing the leak and how to contain it, how to keep it from hitting critical mass. Because unfortunately, if it had hit critical mass, it wouldn't really hurt any one individual in particular. It would hurt the Source Engine development community as a whole. Because if source code leaks, Valve then pulls the ability for people to have that source code to develop off of. So, unfortunately, this source code then, which I had requested that everybody who had access to it delete it following the initial leak back in 2018, and obviously the person who ended up leaking it did leak it. They leak it on 4chan alongside some chat logs. Number one, chat logs from something called YSU Calc 2, which was a private, small little chat between myself and a few of my very close friends discussing Valve leaks and Valve stuff. It was never meant to be public, and it is embarrassing that private chat logs would be, would be shared. And it was also leaked alongside a conversation that I had with an unverified Valve employee back in October of 2016. This is a topic that I have never wanted to talk about, but I've hinted towards in the past. I had had a conversation with a Valve employee back in late 2016. They never verified themselves to the point where I was comfortable with it. However, the information gleaned in this conversation was interesting. However, there were no real materials. It's pretty much all just hearsay rumors. This person called themselves Cephalon, and it was one of the first times I ever had to interview a leak of any kind, and I got very excited back when it happened, like going on 4 years ago. So I shared like those parts of the chat log with my friends, very close friends, and then this person ended up with it and then ended up leaking it. I have a feeling that the leak of this chat log, I have a feeling that the leak of this private chat log with an unverified Valve employee alongside this source code makes it seem like that Valve employee leaked me the source code and I'm the initial source of said code. But that's not the case. The conversation I had with the unverified Valve employee took place in October of 2016, and the actual source code came out is actually dated 2017 and didn't actually do anything until today. I never had access to any of this code myself personally, and yeah, I'm not the source of the code. I'm just not. In fact, I tried very hard. I tried very hard to warn Valve about it. And this is where we get to probably the most valuable piece of information. And that is, I have direct line to Valve's lead copyright and intellectual property lawyer. And I have submitted everything, all evidence that I have on this situation, to the person before going live. And yeah, so I have a pretty good contact with the correct people, and there are quite a few there's a lot of misinformation on exactly what's going on here. I didn't leak the code. I would never do that. I'm not that stupid. It's embarrassing that a good chunk of private chat logs have leaked. And I mean, but I'm not going to try and hide it. I'm not going to try and lie to the public that it doesn't exist. It exists. If you want to try and find it and read it, I welcome you. If you have any questions born out of those chat logs, I would be willing to answer some of them. But as for the source code itself, you know, I have nothing to do with it. The public movements, the movements from the leaker does make it seem like I am the person that has to, that I'm the one that leaked it in the first place. But, you know, reactionary statements, first impression statement based off of a questionable or a situation, an important situation with a lot of missing information will cause incorrect information to become truth. You know, in the face of no information, misinformation is king. So that's why I went live. I'm here to answer any questions that you may have. I'm here for any clearing up any possible problems that you may feel exist within the community. But I will say that I want to, you know, self-preserve here. And in a situation where, you know, a possibly a bad move made from a person that I once associated with to try and hurt me professionally or personally is not going to get very far without me attempting to speak my own side. So, on top of that, something more fun. This person also leaked our current build of f-stop, which is not official. It seems like there's misinformation even on what the f-stop stuff was. That's not real. That's Lever's interpretation of the f-stop concept art and leaks that we've found, data mined leaks that we found within Portal 2 and Left 4 Dead 2. So, I think that pretty much sums everything up. I hope that everything gets cleared up. And, you know, I'm not new to the whole people hate Valve News Network game. That's a game I have played since I started being Valve News Network. I've gotten a lot of messages from people worried about my well-being, worried about my mental health in the face of this situation. And I'd like to clear that up and say, I'm fine, you know, a little anxious, you know, because this kind of sucks that this is happening. But I will say that I'm not, this isn't the first time that something like this has happened. Back in 2016, somebody leaked a bunch of Portal 2 development content and tried to pin the blame on me for that one as well. So this isn't new. People claiming that, you know, I killed certain communities or whatever, can't be farther from the truth. Why the hell would I want to kill a Valve community? I wouldn't have things to report on at that point. But to summarize, I didn't leak the code. The code actually leaked back in 2018. All of this is possible retaliation for a removal from a community by a angry, reactionary person that I used to associate with. The code did not come from me. It's embarrassing that there are private chat logs out there, but there's nothing really I can do about that. And, you know, then you also have our build of f-stop out there, which is not official Valve. It's all recreated stuff from Lever, which, I mean, go nuts with. Have fun with it. It's incomplete. There's really no levels there. How did the chats leak? Well, the conversation I had with this unverified Cephalon, that chat log I did give to about 2 or 3 people, one of which went crazy and leaked it. It's almost 4 years old at this point. So it's not that important. And most of the big information that I was able to verify from it, i.e. Aperture Arm Gordon Freeman and the Half-Life Tactics stuff, I've already reported on. So there's that. As for the code itself, I don't condone the usage of it in any way. I've known about it and could have had access to it for nearly 2 years and have done nothing with it. I realize that it's dangerous, you know. And so, in response to everything that's going on right now, I made sure to give my side of the story and all the evidence that I have, all the receipts that I have on that end, sent directly to Valve's lead intellectual property and copyright lawyer, whom I have had conversations with in the past. Good conversations with in the past. So, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't like to be a narc of any way, of any kind, but this does kind of force my hand. So that kind of puts a bow nicely on that. You will not be knowing or learning any future movements on this topic in relation to Valve Legal or my own personal legal standing. I am in no way incriminated on this situation, as I had nothing to do with the code itself that leaked, and the code is the problem here. Unfortunately, the code is actually already out there. In fact, if you're a Team Fortress 2 fan, press 1 if you're a Team Fortress 2 fan, you've already seen the affix of this code. Press 5 if you knew what the casual crash bot stuff was and the new spin bot stuff going on in casual. Press 5 if you have noticed a recent uptick in casual griefing. All of that is possible because the bad actors have had access to this code for about 1.5 years. This is not new. It's more publicly known about, but this is not new. This is all being done to kind of make my life miserable. But unfortunately for the person that's trying to cause this, they don't realize that my life has always been miserable. This is not new. I have been Valve News Network since I was 13 years old. I'm 23 now. This is not the first time something like this has happened. This is not the first time someone has tried to take me down. And this is definitely not the last.